17, I got him up here. How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
You know I'm here?
No.
You know you got a warrant for your arrest, Tyler?
For what?
For failure to appear to court.
Look!
500 shots fired! Shots fired! Sorry, I'm bleeding!
Today's video takes us to Shelby, Ohio. Most breakdowns usually define what is lawful and what is not, but we're here to dig a little deeper than that, to invoke thought and create a conversation. I'm Sean Tyree. Welcome to Vast Life. So if you heard him there, he told the other officer to go around back. That's usually a common practice if you believe that the person's going to flee, so you either have an officer in the back as an opposition and vice versa, where you, if you're the contact, you're going to remain in front. The only downside with that is safety, right? Because now you're just a solo officer. Most agencies now don't have the proper staffing normally, but if you could have a third officer there, and at best maybe a fourth, so that way you kind of have 2 and 2, so you still have a backup officer in case something happens where a fight ensues.
I got him up here. How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
You know I'm here?
No.
You know you got a warrant for your arrest, Tyler?
For what?
See, what right there? This is a safety risk for the reason of you have the suspect that you want, that you came to get, and then as he's approaching, he did say, "Hey, I got him up front." Hopefully, that officer is making his way back around. But this is where you can kind of BS your way with the suspect, right? Like, "Hey, let me talk to you." He immediately said, "Hey, you have a Tyler," which is the suspect's name that you see in the video. "You have a warrant for your arrest." Right there is a red flag, because now the person that you're talking to, they know they're wanted, and they're more likely going to be arrested, and they may not want to go to jail that night. And this is where that practice of kind of like what they say, verbal judo, right? You're pretty much BSing your way until your backup arrives. He could say, "Hey, Tyler, let me talk to you. I don't know if you're aware," and just whatever the conversation could be stemming around not the warrant. Because once the warrant is mentioned, now even the suspect's antennas is up, and either they're going to cooperate or they're not, but why risk that chance? So just it should have been more of a conversation. This officer may have dealt with this person 1,000 times, but it's that 1,001 time that things can change. So no matter the rapport that you have with this person, just wait for your cover officer, your backup officer to arrive.
For failure to appear to court.
Look!
Just want to back up there real quick. If you notice there, this is another thing. When there's a bad habit that officers usually have when they go in to detain someone and place them in handcuffs. If you notice, what we call this the swiddle. This is where the officer grabs one arm and ends up twisting it in the opposite way, almost like a gooseneck. If you see my hand here, it's like you got it here. You put the arm and you're twisting it like that. This is what you call a swiddle when you're going like a gooseneck, because you're going for the wrist. If you can see that in the video right there, I'll put my arm up here, swiveling like that. That's what you call the gooseneck, or the swiddle. But the downside of that is because when you do that and you don't have a cover officer, what you see here is a blind spot. It creates a blind spot. You don't see the other half of the body, right? You don't know if they're concealing something. It leaves that one arm free. They can go for a weapon, which you clearly just saw, either a knife or a firearm, but it creates that blind spot because you're on the opposite side. If you could have, once again, going back to just having a conversation, waiting for your backup, or even giving directions, turn around, put your hands on top of your head, instead of immediately going hands on and creating that blind spot for yourself.
For failure to appear to court.
Look!
500 shots fired! Shots fired! Sorry, I'm bleeding! Fuck! He got me in the neck.
500
Get fucking gun on him!
And luckily, I'm not sure the type of knife that the suspect had. You see, obviously, created distance, created space, was able to draw his firearm despite being struck in the neck with the knife. The blade, maybe, luckily, it wasn't that deep, because most situations you get struck in the neck, depending on where, it could have hit a main artery, and he could have been bleeding out right there. And obviously, when you see him turn around, the suspect Tyler was actually trying to close the distance on the officer, on the sergeant there. He was trying to close the distance onto him. Luckily, he was able to draw his firearm and actually get on target. That's the reason why most officers practice a lot, for that very reason. If you notice, the backing officer was nearly there right as the action happened. And then he told the backing officers to go and put a gun on him. I know most people, why? He got shot. But regardless of that, if you ever been hunting before, not to try to compare this guy to an animal, but if you ever been hunting before, say a deer, you can shoot a deer. Let's say you double lung them or hit them in the heart, and sometimes they're still sprinting, 1,000 yards before they even drop. And I equate that to the human body, because the human body often doesn't realize it's dying, so it's still creating the action. You still have that adrenaline that's happening. So, and with the rounds that were placed, you don't know exactly where you struck them at. You could have just struck them in the leg, the shoulder, nothing fatal, and then the person is still being able to move and maybe put themselves in a position to cover, and end up, who knows, he may have had a firearm, end up shooting at the backing officer that ended up coming into the building.
500, you got me in the neck. I'm bleeding. Start a squad. Come on.
Yeah, right in there.
Do we have officers hit? Do we have officers hit?
Yes. I'm bleeding from the neck. Start me a squad. ASAP.
I'm saying squad.
Roll around! Roll the fuck around!
Get 511, 505.
Get on the fucking... Oh. Don't you fucking move!
If there's anyone out there that seems confused on, like, why is this officer still placing them in handcuffs? Well, that's common practice, and normally in most agencies, no matter, I'll say statewide or countrywide, is protocol for something to be done. Because even though the suspect is lying on the ground, seems heavily injured, we're not the medics. You haven't actually triaged the situation. You haven't checked for wounds or anything like that. So you don't know the severity of it. So you still have to place this person in handcuffs just for safety reasons, not only for the officer, but also for the public. If you can see in the background there's still a person or an employee in the back just watching. So you don't know. And it kind of takes one person out of the fight. So if he's detained and handcuffed, if another threat comes, now you can assess and you can take care of that secondary threat, now that he's pretty much out of the fight.
Okay. Okay. Where you hit?
In the neck. You got me in the neck. I got pressure on it.
Okay. Just have a seat.
I got pressure on it. I'm not taking pressure off.
Do you got him?
Make sure he has no weapons. Check him for weapons. 500, please have him step it up.
And you have to commend the injured sergeant or officer there. Even though he's injured, he's still keeping his wits about him, giving instruction to the other officer there, the backup officer, because he's the sergeant that was injured. He's still keeping that safety risk, right? Check him for weapons. That's still a proper protocol because if there's a secondary threat that happens to come out or that's involved with this gentleman that's also in the store or the restaurant there, you don't want them gaining access. And then next thing you know, there's a second fight or a third fight that ensues when you could have removed the first weapon and completely put that out of play. All right. So even despite him being injured, he's still thinking logically and staying in the fight.
Okay. I don't feel anything. Got him. I'm gonna go grab the kid.
Stay where you are right now.
And this is funny. The general public, even despite the situation and what you see, what's being dealt with right there, people still don't care for the most part, right? It's about what they want now or what they have to do in this moment, and not understanding there's a severe, there's a hectic situation going on, but yet it's about me. There's no other way to put it. If you see officers dealing with something, don't interfere. Just wait and wait for instructions, essentially, right? Don't roam around, don't approach. But that's a situation where the general public has to understand. So if you see officers handling something, don't interfere. All right. Wait for instructions.
Tyler, where are you hit, man? We're gonna get you help. We're gonna get you help, Tyler. Tyler, where are you hit? We're gonna get you help. Start doing aid on him.
How you doing there, Sarge?
I'm good. Just start doing aid.
I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about you.
No, you gotta help him, man. I'm good. I'm good.
So in my last video, I'll be sure to link that at the end of this video. There's a moment in my last video where officers could have rendered aid. All right. And that was in 2025. This here video was in December of 2024. So not even a year ago compared to this date. And I would say less than 8 months compared to the prior video. I only note that because if you listen to what this sergeant just said, the officer said, I don't care about him. I care about you, Sarge. The Sarge says, I'm good. Don't worry about render aid to him. This is what I mean by if you see officers in your city or your county or even or state on the roadway, if they have outer carriers or outer vests, what you see, make sure they have a med pack on them, right? For that very reason. And despite that, the suspect struck him in the neck, he's still trying to save his life. That's what it's about. And if you notice, the other officer had to run back to his vehicle in order to get the medical kit or life-saving kit. That's where I say, if you have it on your vest, that saves you half the time because you have majority of the stuff on your pack, in your pack. Doing life-saving efforts despite the situation just to save a life, got to have their day in court. That's 100% right. And that's my opinion on it. And honestly, I can't see anyone faulting that, but that right there, that's leadership.
Where you hit, man?
508, we have units en route. Repeat, we have units en route, 508.
Where you hit?
Copy. 17 starting aid to Jacobs right now. I'm still good for the time being. Starting to go a little numb in my right side, so the squad to hurry. My voice is going too. Holy shit.
And if you don't notice, for people that don't understand what's going on, what's big that's happening right now, all right? What I would say, what grit that's happening right now. So the officer is rendering aid to the suspect on the ground, but what you're not understanding, the sergeant is still there with the officer because he's still a backup person. He's still that. Now he goes from being the contact officer to now he's the cover officer while being injured. That is what's big. If you take away anything in this video, especially if you're a law enforcement watching this video, young officer, despite the situation, even though he's injured, he's still standing the fight because he's still being a cover officer for the officer that's rendering aid.
Keep talking to me.
I'm good. I'm good. The fuck? Once you get 11 and 15 and 5, you're gonna need to get more units in town, please.
I'm getting multiple calls.
Do we have any tourniquets in here?
I don't know, man. Here. Use yours. Use yours first. You're not hit. Use yours. Fuck.
Now that's unfortunate. The officer that's using the med pack, he couldn't find a tourniquet, meaning that wasn't good equipment management. Not particularly on him, but that's just overall. They may share vehicles. This is where equipment management is important. That bag should have been filled with all the necessities for this type of situation, and this officer shouldn't even have to use his own tourniquet if there was already one in place. But good on him for having one. Every officer should have their own tourniquet. It's normally to triage themselves, but in the field, if no injury done to yourself and there are no other threats, then you're going to use that on the person that you're trying to save. But the fact that he had the med pack and he couldn't even find something essential as just simple as a tourniquet, that's where equipment management comes in, and that's a problem. All right, and I'm sure they'll grow from this because this is, once again, hopefully they're reviewing their own body cameras after this situation. It's on social media. You hear me say that in 2 of my videos now. If it's on social media, hopefully the agency themselves or the officers involved are reviewing their own body cameras, so that way it'll help them grow. They'll see what training they need in order to improve, and how to handle situations better as far as safety wise.
Fuck. Whew.
500 UNC have the shooter.
Right, he's in custody. He's still breathing agonally. 17's putting a tourniquet on.
Clear.
$500, where's that squad, man?
Squad's coming.
It's gonna hurt, dude.
Tyler, stop reaching!
Stop!
Get out of your fucking pockets! We're at Arby's inside. Stop reaching in your fucking pockets!
Bullshit.
Here.
Jacob, it's gonna hurt, dude.
Tyler, stop fucking reaching in your pockets! No, we're putting a tourniquet on you. Relax.
Now, this is just adrenaline talking right now. He's still trying to give commands, but the guy's clearly incoherent. But the officer said he did a safety check and there were no other weapons. If that's the case, you know, if that's the case, it's pretty much where just focus on triaging the situation, right? You already have him in handcuffs. Not much movement he'll be able to do. If there are no other weapons of concern, who cares if he's moving around? He's clearly doesn't have enough power or strength to do anything else after that. So, but this is adrenaline talking, right? Firearm was just used. You were just stabbed. So your adrenaline is high. The emotions are high. All right.
Dude, it's gonna hurt.
Holy shit.
Hey, hold on.
And
I'm good. I really need that squad, though.
I'll say this, and depending on their location, I'm pretty sure they are a city agency. But if they're a county or state, this type of situation, when he's saying, where's his backup can be 10 minutes away. And oftentimes when you're in a fight, his brain is probably spinning along with the other officer because it's a high volatile situation. He's trying to do life-saving efforts. He's still injured and still trying to maintain awareness as a cover officer and as a supervisor. 5 minutes can seem like an hour. Just put it that way.
500, do you know they're going to Arby's?
We're going to need 511 where on this. You're going to need to respond. Clear, I've already contacted them.
Holy shit, where is everybody, man? I'm starting to go weak, man. 500, I need that squad. I'm going weak. Jacob's still responsive. Squad's on scene. Oh, shit.
And for those, if you're asking why is he so hell-bent on requesting for a squad, not only for medics to get there, but he's asking for another healthy body to get there to provide cover for the officer that's trying to triage the situation. He needs that break, right? But the adrenaline, actually, I think it's what keeping him upright. The adrenaline going. So even though they have such I wouldn't say a slow response, because I don't know the size of the agency and how far anyone is coming from. But the upside about that is the simple fact that it is giving him his adrenaline. It's keeping his adrenaline going. And while keeping your adrenaline pumping, I think it's keeping him more in the fight. But when the other officers get there, he'll be able to relax. But the simple fact that they're not there yet is keeping him in the fight.
Just, yeah.
Sit down. Hey, just have a seat. Where's he at?
It's right there.
Take care of him.
Oh, shit.
Cut it off.
In the neck, man.
Come on, come on. Go. Get right in the truck. Go. Can you go? Yeah, go. Sit down.
All right, to conclude the video, the sergeant did make it. I do want to offer my condolences to the suspect, to his family. He did not make it. Just like my previous video that you'll see that'll pop up here towards the end of this video, leading to a separate incident where the suspect also didn't make it. But two separate situations happened, right? In this video, you see where life-saving efforts were provided despite the injury, where in the video prior to, life-saving efforts weren't really provided. And this is where what I mean. Law enforcement is not a monolith for that very reason. Different agencies, same job, different way of working. Tactics and treatment is different all across the country. With that being said, if you're law enforcement of old, law enforcement of present, even the general public, if you learn anything from this video, drop a comment below. And like always, Jesus is the light of the way.